It's me, Cappy. My mommy is the best. Superman will be next. She helps mommy. It looks my back. Your dick goes back. And this might go back. You wait for the straw. Brush. Get ready for it's super scary. Not super scrap.
Welcome to my Global Healing for the Soul podcast, sponsored by myself, Robin Stoltman. As I am America's #1 fertility and parenting mindset expert, a transformational resilience speaker, a coach and trainer for businesses and individuals. I'm also an author and a super mom of 11 biological children with 8 C-sections in a row after overcoming infertility that I had for over 5 years using my Fertility Mindset Revolution program I created, with this being season number 6, episode number 29, where every week I feature different guests to help empower you to become the best version of yourself through different methods that you may not have heard of or even thought of. So be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe to Healing for the Soul podcast and keep coming back for more. Now today on my show, I have 2 special guests, Kristina and Herb Heagh-Avritt, who is the founder of Vibrant Family Education, and Kristina is a speaker, a homeschool support, and is a podcast host with her husband of Bringing Education Home. And today we are talking about debunking the top 3 homeschooling myths, as they are about to reveal the truth about 3 of these homeschooling misconceptions. Thank you so much, Kristina and Herb, for being here with our audience today.
Thank you for having us. It's a pleasure.
It's a pleasure. Thank you so much. We really enjoy these conversations.
Well, I want to know is who or what inspired you to create this vibrant family education and offering that homeschooling support?
You want me to go for this one?
It.
So I hurt my head many years ago, and my business fell apart, and my life kind of fell apart. And as I was rebuilding, well, I'm kind of jumping ahead of the story. So let's talk about my wife being a teacher for 27 years first. And at the start of her teaching career, I remember her at the end of each year crying because her kids were leaving and she loved them so much and she's going to miss them. And then towards the end of the 27 years, she was crying throughout the years because she couldn't reach her children and she couldn't talk to the parents and all of the restrictions and stuff. And so through the years, we were talking about the proper ways to educate children and to give them a love of learning. And then I ended up hurting myself. I hurt my head. I lost my business. Things kind of crashed. And I ended up weirdly in Montana, which is 2 states away. I live in Oregon, and at a business event, and I had lost everything, my business, but I was on the mend. I had finally started recovering. And in this event, I spent 3 days basically on the back foot because it's like I wasn't supposed to be there. I helped somebody move, and this person's girlfriend's boyfriend was doing this thing, and it was this business thing. And during the event, I sat back. I didn't participate. I just kind of watched, and I was really taken by the group and the people that were there. And through the meeting, at the end of the meeting, or at the end of the 3-day event, I basically had this opening, and God told me, it's like, tell them about your school. And so the whole thing was actually about learning how to become a speaker. And so the last event we were being recorded on camera, and the 3 days we created this 10 to 15 minute starting speech to be on stages. And again, I didn't participate. So the way it went is like, so-and-so, are you ready for your speech? So-and-so, are you ready for your speech? And finally, I'm the last person that says, Herb, are you going to do this? And I'm like, you know what? Yes. Because just before God said, tell them about your school. And I'm like, you took that school away from me when you damaged your head, when I hurt my head. And it's like, I didn't, but now it's going to become the parents. And so I told them about the school concept that became Vibrant Family Education, because I was an entrepreneur. And when you're an entrepreneur, it's like you do that because you realize that something is wrong in the world. And you want to step out of the normal path and start a business. And you do that for your family. And it's like, I need my family and that they're falling apart. So I'm going to start this business. But there's so much time, there's so much effort, there's so much learning that the business people started losing their families along the way. So what we wanted to do was show them that they could start with their families by bringing the children home. And then instead of working your butt off 20 hours a day, losing your kids, never seeing them, and then 10, 15 years later, trying to repair your family because you were never there, you bring them out, you homeschool them. You work your business around the schooling. Instead of like 3 hours to take your kids to school and pick them up each day, well, now there's 3 hours where they're eating and doing their stuff and you are working with your clients. So there's a flexibility. And so we brought that all together and showed it. And then we started bringing it out to the people. And that's kind of how it started, because it's like I lost everything and I didn't want other people
And it's time
to
to
do
give
the same
back.
thing.
No, I love that, because that is huge. Because that's literally like where I'm at right now. Like, I feel like I've been losing everything that matters to me, like with all the kids that I've got, in order just to grow the business, in order to have what it is that I really want to be able to do. And ultimately it is for my kids, like why I'm doing this. But at the same time, it's like, how does
Taking you away from your kids?
Huh?
Yeah, you're doing all of this for your family.
Yeah,
and
that's the
you're
whole
losing your family doing all of this for them. Yeah, it's a catch-22.
Yeah, it is, because literally, coming back from the dentist on Monday, my one son with autism, he told me, he says, "You're working all the time. You never play with us. You never do anything with us anymore." And I'm like, one, I'm working on it. I'm working on trying to navigate all of this. It's not as easy as what you think it should be, because it's like, as an entrepreneur, we spend more time working than the normal person that's going to work as an employee. I swear I'm like, I don't have anything against employees, but at the same time, they don't grasp the concept of how hard it is to be an entrepreneur. And then they get mad at people that are entrepreneurs, and it's like, we just think differently.
Yeah, they think it's an overnight success, but you suffer
It's
for
not.
10, 15 years before you get your overnight success.
Yeah, most definitely. So in leading this, what are the top 3 myths about homeschooling? Because you mentioned we're bringing the kids home for doing the homeschooling, but what have you noticed that you frequently encounter, and how do you suggest parents overcome them?
Can I start with this one, because I want to say something funny?
Okay.
So you kind of sent us a list of questions that you were going to ask us. 2 of your questions are 2 of our top
myths.
3 myths. Okay. And so the reason
awesome.
that we talk about the top 3 is because no matter who we talk to, they're going to have at least one of them, almost always 2. And everybody, by the time we get through the 2, has the 3rd one as well. Okay.
So here's the top 3 that we always find.
Do you want them like boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom, and then
Yeah,
discuss
let's
them,
go
or do
for
you
it.
want us to leak them one at a time as we go?
No, we can do it all now, and then we can talk about each one of them.
Sounds good. So the first one is that I'm not qualified. There are so many people out there who have been brainwashed and taught by our society and our school systems that they're not qualified to be their own child's teacher. So that's number 1. Educator. Number 2, I don't have time to homeschool. That's number 2. And we'll debunk that in a few minutes. And the last one is the biggest one that every single homeschool family gets is, aren't you worried about your child's socialization? Aren't they going to be the weird ones because they aren't in school getting socialized, right? Exactly. You're laughing.
So your questions 2 and 3 right there. Boom, boom.
Boom, boom.
And actually, the one of them covers 2 of them.
So which
like,
one do you want to start with?
Which one would you like to start with? Because again, it's like, they're your questions. They're the top 3 hitters. It's like, duh.
Well, yeah, I think the one that I've even got, like when I was homeschooling my children, I just put them into private myself, just to try to help me out with business here. I think the socialization one, I think that's, I'm not sorry, but some people I wouldn't want my kids to be around.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. And the way you crack it.
It's like, you want your kids socialized in that mess? It's like, are you kidding?
Okay, so here we go. Let's get serious. So the biggest one is that, what about socialization? And the thing that we come back with constantly is if the parent is going to be intentional enough to educate their child at home, do you really think that they're not going to give them the experiences to be able to interact and connect and be with other people? And some people are, oh no, people are trying to hide their kids. No, they're not trying to hide their kids. They want to do it differently. Either they don't want them exposed to some of the stuff that they don't agree with, family values, etc., right? Or their child doesn't interact in big crowds like other people, so they need to do it more carefully and more thoughtfully. And the thing that I love the most is that most home families, they're ready to do things in the community. So that's where the socialization comes from instead. You're doing food drives, you're doing community service, you might be doing church things, you might be doing play school or homeschool co-op group things. They get to socialize with so many different levels and ages that they can't be the awkward ones, because guess what? They've learned those skills early and well. And when we talk with entrepreneurs, especially, it's like, guess what? You start exposing them to the entrepreneur conferences, all the different learning and things like that. They're the ones, these little kids, when they're allowed there, they walk up to adults and start asking questions. And the adults are taken back on their heels going, why is this kiddo able to ask me such amazing questions? And so if you really think about it, the homeschool families are kicking socialization out of the ballpark. It's just different than keeping them with the same age kids all the way through the system.
Yeah. And in school, socialization happens like 5 minutes in the hallway with a chaos, and then 20 minutes at a recess with 1 or 2 monitors who can't figure out everything that's going on. And communication skills are not taught, especially in elementary schools. So the trauma of having, and so that's what I call the competition environment of socialization. Now, the cooperative environment. So you have a kid in school who loves music class, gets to go to music class twice a week for half an hour. And in that class, there's 20 people, other kids who don't want to be there, who are picking and goofing. And so this kid is not getting the music. That's, again, the competition ways. Now, you're homeschooling, your kid wants to do music, you take them to a music program. Now you are there with children of all different ages who all are mostly want to be there. Probably there's a couple of kids whose parents probably forced them there anyway.
But not as many.
But so the children are working together with children of all ages. They're in a cooperative environment. They're all working towards a goal, and they get a much more rewarding, robust learning environment in that cooperative manner. And so instead of having to fight with the kids in the class to play, so that's another way that socialization is just so much easier. And so there's also, again, if you can take your kids to the museums and stuff when there's nobody there, dance classes, swimming, sports, and they're working in multi-age groups in a cooperative environment with people who want to be there, and that makes a huge difference.
I would agree with you, because I know, like, my kids, that's why they told me, they're like, they just want this to be just for this year. That's why they're like, we need things working now for the business to really succeed. And then I'm like, you know what about because they've been saying, like, they want me to go back to the homeschooling, because, like, I took my kids to you can do, like, it's not the cop shop, but, like, to the police department. You can take them there and they'll let you do a tour. And they'll let you do a tour of that. Like, we took them to the museums. The only place in town where we live, they love to go to the Terry Redland Museum. It's the only place my kids would be quiet. And they don't touch anything. And they're not running around like wild. They love looking at the paintings. And so one of the things I did was I turned that into a game, even, like, with my kids. I'm like, oh, hey, I spy something red on this picture. Can you tell me about this picture? And that was fun, because I definitely agree. Like, they get out, they get that socialization. And then, like, when you brought up the entrepreneurship, I'm like, it's so amazing to see my kids, because, like, the one with autism, like I spoken earlier with him, he's been mowing grass since he's about 3 or 4. We have the old time one, so there's no electricity, no gas. But he's been mowing grass, and he loves to mow grass. He wants to have his own business mowing grass. Well, when I got my hair cut, he told the lady about how he mows grass. He perked himself up like, I can come mow your grass. Like, he was dead serious, asking this lady, telling her he wants to mow the grass. He like how long she wants, all these questions. And I'm like, this must be like they're following in my footsteps. You get those little signs, and I was like, this is good. This is what I've wanted. So
if they've
yeah,
been to school in like second or third grade, they would just sit there and be quiet because that's what they've been taught for 2 years, to sit down, be quiet. Other people are talking. You don't speak out. You don't be that person. So
yeah, and that's the part that I'm like, I'm seeing those benefits now. And the one's he's in third grade right now, and then the other one, he's in second grade, and then I got a kindergartner and a junior kindergartner. So I'm like, I got the age in school right now. But it's neat though to see like how much that entrepreneurship have made my kids more motivated to be driven to do the things that other kids are not doing. And then parents are like, well, my kid, they shouldn't be doing this or that. And it's like, my kids, they like to wash windows. They like to wash the vehicle windows every time we go to the car wash. Or not the car wash, but getting gas.
School, and they're saying, you know what, I learned more at home than I'm learning here. This isn't good for me.
Well, that's what I was actually wondering too. I'm sorry, it's not one of the questions, but have you noticed that like people, like not just my situation, but like have you noticed that parents that have the homeschoolers, that their kids are actually ahead of the other kids that are supposed to be
big
learning?
time?
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah, we talked, on our podcast, we talked to different families who are in the journey, and we talked to a couple, and they've had to do the same thing, right? They have their kids homeschool for quite a while, and then something happened. They put them in public school for a while, and then sometimes they stay and sometimes they come back out depending on the family situation. But the mom was talking about how the teacher was so enamored with the little girl that came into the classroom because she asked such thoughtful questions that the other kids weren't. And the other kids were all like, well, wow, why is she thinking about that kind of stuff? And brought the whole class up to kind of a different level, not in a smarty pants kind of way, but in a wow, different kinds of questions just because of her previous experiences. So yes, lots of times, the kiddos, especially with a conscientious parent who's made sure academics are looking, good, they go into the public school ahead of the class. And then they also get to give different perspectives, which is really amazing.
Yeah, and if your kid is behind in school and having problems, if you take them out and homeschool them and you do nothing with them for like 5 or 6 months, just let them relax.
2 months.
5 or 6, a year, 2 years, it doesn't matter really. But once they feel safe, once they calm down, once they're in an environment where it is safe to learn again, they will catch up to where they're supposed to be in nothing flat. And then they will like start learning at a rate, and it's like going back to school slows them down.
Well, I'm glad to know that, because I kind of noticed that with the one, because like I said, last year was the one that I did all the homeschooling for. He went from no school to all of a sudden going into first grade, and just struggles with reading a little bit. I think almost everybody struggles with reading. I'm just saying in general. But I mean, like, it was different to see his reaction, because he went into the first grade, he didn't know what to expect. And then when school had their summer break, then he goes back, like I said, this year, and it's like he just really wants to be the homeschool. And I think it's because like that one-on-one, and then he got more of those real life experiences, because like some of their stuff that they had, that they're using workbooks instead of computer and tablet, which I'm thankful for, because I do it all on workbooks myself. But even at that, I'm like, some of the questions, I'm like, a quart into a gallon, like some of these things for math, I'm like, you know what, I can't learn this way. So what I did, I suppose this has to do with the qualifications, and like people don't feel qualified. One of the things that I did was, I'm like, I don't know, I can't remember. So I'm like, took out the pint, the quart, the gallon, and I'm like, and the half gallon, I'm like, okay, we're gonna figure this out. And so then I was helping them figure this out with real life objects instead of just the paper.
Yep.
And then it's like to see that light bulb click in his head, like, oh, and I'm like, well, that's how mommy does it. So I guess that's part of the question too, because I don't know, like,
so
am I qualified?
that there,
you know,
that lesson, it's like you brought out objects, you modeled a behavior. I don't know, let's figure this out
together.
In school, the teacher has the answer. It's like, oh, what here's the answer. It's like, don't give them the answer, like, let's figure it out. So the learning opportunity there was more valuable than years in school. So that just that one little modeling that you did there is incredible.
So then in a way, like, even that when parents don't think that they're qualified.
Myth number 2.
Yeah.
I wasn't good in school. I did bad at math. I was bad in reading. How can I teach my children reading? Okay, you just proved the school system doesn't work for everybody. You're not good at math. Why do you think that your child is going to learn math any better? Because there's some from your genetics, they model after you, they learn from you. So more than likely their education is going to be similar. That's not true. Everybody has their own personality, okay? But so it's like, so the school let you down if you're not good in math. The school let you down if you're not good in reading. Why do you want to send your children if it let you down? Now, in the process of teaching your children to read, and again, you don't have to be the teacher. You have to hold the education space. There's online curriculums, there's pods. If you're not great at teaching, then for that aspect of it, you might be able to find some help. And that's something that we do. It's like, you're not great at this. Great. Here's an option. Here's an option. Here's an option. Let's find something that works for your family. But yeah, it's like,
my turn.
Your turn.
And the other part of that is that, think about this. You think you're not qualified, but yet you brought that child home. You brought them into your house. You've already taught them how to most likely walk and talk.
You taught them how to
take care
talk
of themselves.
That's a 3-year project, teaching a kid how to talk. That's an amazing education.
And you understand them better than the teacher. Even a most caring teacher who is really, really invested, you still understand that child a little bit better. So you know when they're awake and ready to learn. You know when they've hit their limits. You know when you know so much more about them that the learning process is easier with you because you know all of those things. So you not being qualified to be their proper educator or teacher is just a myth that the society has given us. Go back and think about it. You are the first best.
I 100% agree, because I'm like thinking about my son with autism, because when he was in public school for a little bit, they had him in preschool for 3 years in a row, and I'm like, the most he learned was his name and how to spell it. That was it. I'm like, 3 years and that's all we got. And I'm like, I switched to like the homeschool, and I'm like, I figured out how to help him want to learn.
Yes.
And it was like Play-Doh. We'd take flashcards with words on them and had to do like the Play-Doh, like the snake, roll it up, do the letters. And then his brain started like catching on, like, hey, this is fun.
Once they stop,
they like educational stuff now.
Yeah, once they stop cramming facts and they start learning, and it's like, I can learn, then they start pulling in.
Yeah,
this is one of these things that leads to myth number 3 about time. I don't have time.
Yeah.
That's another thing I was going to bring up, because how much time does it really take to homeschool? Because, entrepreneur, one entrepreneur to another, it's like, I only got like 20 minutes some days.
And for the youngers especially, that's it. If you're pushing academics, reading, writing, math, academics more than 30 minutes for a kindergartner or a first grader, you're doing way too much, because they're learning through playing, through being in life, from doing the natural activities. You're like, oh, hey, let's write a letter to grandma and grandpa. Guess what? There's your writing throughout the normal part of the day. That's normal part of life, right? Then when they get a little bit older, 2nd, 3rd grade, we might push the academics to maybe an hour. but that's it. You're not picking up school and putting it in your house.
This is why we call it education at home. Homeschooling is broken. You do not want the school in your house.
No. And then when they get older, when they're more capable after they get those basic academics, they might end up with 2 or 3 hours of academics, but it's them pulling it. It's like, oh, I want to learn about this. And then all of a sudden you're providing them the books, maybe the videos, the whatever, and they go and they learn, and then they come and they spew all the stuff back. Look what I learned today. And then you're like, awesome. And then they're redoing it in their head because now they're teaching about it as well. And that's one of the things that we talk about, is that whenever you learn something and then of course you reteach it, you're getting it even further into your head. And that's why it can be so great, right? And with you especially, you have olders who are learning. Guess what? All the little brothers and sisters are hearing it all. It's probably not going to take as many iterations or tries with them because they heard it. They're marinating it in their head. And when they're exposed to the actual lesson later, their brain goes, oh, I remember that. Click, 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 boom, I've got it. So yeah, it doesn't take near as long as people think. And if you're really trying to put 6 hours of school in your house, you're doing it wrong. Stop, please. Don't.
No, I appreciate that, because I know like my mom and then like a couple other people, they're just like, you need to be doing it long hours. And I'm like, I don't think I need to, especially like with the reading and the math and the writing. Because I'm like, I don't
another
think
caveat
that long.
Yeah. Another caveat is, because you do say you have boys, is boys and girls learn differently. So,
oh God, yes, they do.
You could actually probably wait till 7 or 8 to start the real formal education, academics with boys, because they learn so much more from out there almost dying every day.
That's right.
Now,
I swear my boys have learned more outside than I'm the go outside. I don't want to see you until late. It's not that I don't love them. It's I know that they're learning outside. That's why I'm like, go outside.
And the thing is they're going to do incredibly dangerous stuff. But the thing is they're going to do it as careful. They're going to hurt themselves, but they're going to do really dangerous stuff as carefully as possible. And that is how boys it's like you keep their attention, you get their focus. And then once they get all that energy out, then when they want to learn and calm, then they'll come in and they'll pull it and they'll devour it. And then they will explode and go, because they're safe and they're free and they learned their boundaries and their edges and their risks. Now, girls don't learn that way as well. It's a much more quiet. But again, with educating at home, you can wait a couple of years and because
it doesn't mean you're not doing anything. You're still singing songs, you're still exposing.
Yeah, you're still doing all that.
You're teaching them to cook, and you're learning the half gallon and the teaspoons and so you're doing math and chemistry in the kitchen while you're cooking food. You're learning discipline with chores and stuff. So there's lots of stuff. They're not just wild, but the formal
sometimes they feel like it
can be delayed. And once they're ready for it, they will suck it up so fast, and then just beyond what public education kids can do.
Well, no, and I appreciate that, because like there's a lot of times like I've questioned myself on this, and I'm sure there's a lot of people like what we've already been discussing. There's a lot of people that question it, and it's like, for me, I swear some days just I would never just leave them in the woods, but I've told my boys, I'm like, I swear boys need to be just dropped off into a forest. Let them go climb the trees, because every time they see a tree that they can climb, they go climb it. And I'm like, okay, they could get hurt, but I'm like, you know what? As long as they don't die, who cares? I'm just saying.
And you've got spares.
Yeah. I could look at it that way, but I'm just saying. It's
and you have really well-meaning people around you.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Those moms, those aunties, those people, they're very well-meaning, but you have to look at their perspective. What do they know? They probably went to public education, or they probably put their public education, and they don't have that mind shift yet. It's really one of those things that people have to be exposed to the possibilities, kind of think through it, kind of explore it, and then be encouraged, because this is not an easy task. And the fruits and the joys of homeschooling and bringing education home can be so great for you and your family.
Yeah, and I agree with you. That's why I was saying too, like for about the woods with the boys, just because I swear, like they would be able to learn some of those man skills. I'm not saying that us women don't need them, but I wouldn't want to be left. You wouldn't want to leave me in the forest.
No, not
I wouldn't know what I would do, but like the boys, they love when they find like the animals, like I'm trying to think. They found like a dead bird. They were all excited about a dead bird. They were excited about grasshoppers and all this stuff recently. And I'm like, that's the
Snakes and
type of stuff
snails
that
and
they're
puppy dog
learning.
tails.
Huh?
Snakes and snails and puppy dog tails. That's
Yeah,
what little boys are made of.
that's for sure. And the girls, every sugar and spice and everything that's nice. But no, I appreciate this so much because like there's so many parents that need to hear this, to know that they're still doing it right. Because I'm like I said, like even for the reading part of it too, it's one of those things you're still learning how to read when you're reading like the recipes and following them. Like my husband, he's better at following directions. Me, I'm like, just throw everything together, we'll figure it out. just saying. But like my kids, they're figuring out how to read directions. Even like they got a broom yesterday, so they're trying to figure out like how to use the broom handle to put the broom together. I mean, it's only a couple steps for it, but the whole thing is like the one's like, oh hey, here's a picture, I don't even have to read, I can just look at the picture on how to do it. And I was like, good job, we're learning how to do this.
Another aspect on the time that you were talking about of I don't have
Yeah.
time. Like if you start thinking about how much time you spend taking your kids to school, it's like, do you have to wait to drop them off? The teacher conferences, when you're picking them up, do you have to get in that line and wait there? How long does it take you to drive to school? How many hours are you spending in that? And then again, it's like also there's this time frame is like your kids, it's like 7 to 3, and then you have to be there at that time. You have so much flexibility with your homeschool. So if you have a child that like really learns well in the evening, then you can take your morning and do your work there. It's also as you structure this with your children, because they become part of the family. It's like some of your olders can watch some of your youngers for a while, and you have office hours. So it's like for this period of time, it's like mommy needs to do this, and so you schedule your time in, and your kids, that's when your kids, it's like, this is mommy's work time, this is your homework time, so sit here and do your homework, I'm going to do my. So it's flexible. And if your kids sleep in the morning and you get up in the morning, you can do your work. If your kids like are early risers and go to bed early, then you can. So it's like the flexibility you have with what you're doing. And again, so much of the learning comes in the everyday activities, in the cooking, in the learning how to take care of the house, in the yard work. When you go shopping, you give them parts of it and have them figure out the budget. And so they're dealing with money and time. So there's so many things that you can do, and flexibility that the time just becomes part of the day, part of the routine. And it's just all there, but you're with your family instead of trying to do it all while somebody else is raising them. However, they're raising them 8-9 hours a day while you're not there.
Yeah, that is true. Because now I'm thinking about it, I'm like, no wonder why my kids wanted me to homeschool them instead. Because I didn't think I was doing good enough for them. Because I'm like, they don't got the reading skills yet in full. But I'm like, I'm working on it.
When they want to learn how to read, when it's like if you start reading books to them, I don't remember learning how to read. I was reading before I went to school, because my mom was an avid reader and would read us books. And then she would stop reading. And I realized one day that I would continue. So I somehow learned how to read by watching my mom read. And when she stopped and I wanted to keep going, I picked up the books and pretended, and then realized I wasn't pretending. So it's like amazing stuff happens.
Wow. Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about all this now.
And there's one caveat though, right? You as a mom, you as a person who's working with them, you'll pick up on if there's a reason they're not learning, right? So follow that gut instinct. If you think there is an eye problem, if you think there's a hearing problem, if there's some kind of disconnection in what you're trying to teach them and them not picking it up. If it's not an age thing, if it's that they're not quite ready, your gut instinct tells you, no, I need to get this checked out more. So that's the other thing that we have to listen to as homeschool parents, is don't just think they'll grow into it. Listen to that intuition. If you think, I think there's something that needs to get checked out, do that. And also give them the time and the space to learn and grow.
So I do have a question about that, because I know like my son with the autism, like he likes tractors. So like I was like, he didn't have any interest in schooling at all, basically, to begin with. But then when I started figuring out, well, we can count tractors, we can count these different things, I switched it to what we were doing, like workbooks, to taking and counting the tractors. He's really good at lining up stuff in a row, I'm just saying. So like I started switching that. So is that like an example of what you're saying beyond
Exactly.
like the
tractor books? How does a tractor work? And then you can get into engines and wheel sizes, or plowing and nature. And it's like there's so many areas, like road work. How many ways can tractors? And then as you find another interest, you follow the interest. And then what happens is like, oh, I want to learn about that. I follow the interest. Then pretty soon he doesn't necessarily need you anymore. And he's coming to you, hey, look what I learned about tractors. Look at this other thing that tractors can do. And pretty soon, instead of how do I teach him about tractors, you're like, shut the heck up about tractors. I'm tired of hearing about tractors. And he's going to know everything about tractors, and you're going to appreciate it. And so that's the way that teaching them to learn. And once they get that, then education becomes easy. They do it. And you just have to once in a while say, hey, you know what? Maybe we need to look at math for a little bit, because that's important.
Yeah. Maybe we focus on this skill.
Maybe we should look at this skill for a little while, because this is important. And you have to take them away from the other stuff that they want to learn to get these other tools. But then it's like, oh, look, I can do this with this now. Yeah. And it's just additive. It's a beautiful process to watch.
I love this. So for the parents that are interested in learning more about homeschooling or have additional questions, what's the best way for them to contact you for further guidance?
You can come to our website, vibrantfamilyeducation.com. There's a booking link there. There's our free gift about how to get started in 10 simple steps. There's all the different ways. And you can contact us through our podcast as well, the Bringing Education Home podcast. So vibrantfamilyeducation.com. Come find me there. Leave me a message.
Awesome. So I want to just remind all the viewers to be sure to share Healing for the Soul podcast with everyone that you know. And I encourage you to follow me, Robin Stoltman, on social media, and my guest, Kristina and Herb Heagh-Avritt, as well. And thank you for your time and your energy while listening to today's episode of Healing for the Soul podcast.
Thank you. It has been an absolute pleasure being here. Thank you for having us.
I love having you guys on. It's been amazing.
That's all for now, folks. Make sure you listen to thank you for fun. Help that fall bucket to strive. Quack, quack! Bye-bye. Wow, real next time. Now we will be gathered.